Honeybees play a crucial role in our ecosystem and in agriculture. Today, we'll take a closer look at their life cycle, their tasks, and why we urgently need them. So stay tuned, it's going to be exciting. Welcome to Erklärwürdig, worth explaining. Honeybees are true superheroes of nature. They pollinate about a third of the food we eat, from fruits and vegetables to nuts and seeds. Without bees, many things wouldn't exist. But their work doesn't stop at pollination. Honeybees also produce honey, which we treasure. To produce 500 grams of honey, over 10 million flowers must be visited and nectar collected. But how exactly does this work? The hive is home to honeybees, and it's amazingly well organized. Each bee has a specific task. Inside, we find honeycombs made of wax. The perfect hexagonal honeycombs are created by the bees themselves. They produce the wax through the wax glands located in their abdomens. The honeycombs are used as a storage area for pollen and honey, as well as for breeding and rearing the larvae. But how is honey produced? The bee collects nectar from the flowers. It sucks it up with its proboscis and temporarily stores it in its stomach. During the return flight to the hive, enzymes are added to the nectar in its stomach. Back in the hive, the bee hands the honey over to a worker bee, which collects it and enriches it with its own enzymes. After processing, the bee places the nectar in a honeycomb. Due to air circulation and the warmth in the hive, the nectar thickens and ripens into honey, which is then sealed with wax. At the center of the hive is the queen. She is the only fertile female and can lay between 1,000 and 2,000 eggs per day. In addition to producing offspring, she controls the colony by secreting pheromones. Like worker bees, she also has a sting, but without a barb, allowing her to sting multiple times. The queen usually only uses her sting to kill other young queens that were raised alongside her. Queen bees can live up to 5 years. Worker bees are always female and the backbone of a hive. Their life expectancy depends on the time of their birth. Workers born in summer live for about 35 days, while those born in winter can live up to 9 months. Worker bees have a variety of roles that change over the course of their lifetime. Young worker bees begin as nursing bees, caring for the larvae. Later, they feed the older larvae and produce royal jelly to feed the queen. As they grow older, they take on different roles. Worker bees are then responsible for building and repairing honeycombs and later assume guard duties. As adults, they then fly out as scouts or foragers, pollinating plants and collecting nectar to supply the hive. When it comes to pollination performance, many sources vary greatly from one another. I examined and compared countless sources for this specific information alone. If you'd like to honor this meticulous research, which applies to all my videos, please subscribe to my channel. According to the German Beekeepers Association, a foraging bee flies out up to 30 times a day and visits 200 to 300 flowers in one flight. Okay, let's do the math. If we break down the phrase, up to 30 times, to an assumed average of 15, and assume 250 flowers visited per flight, we arrive at 3,750 flower visits per day per bee. A bee colony can comprise 50,000 or more bees. With approximately 1/3 of these bees being foragers, that translates to more than 60 million flowers visited per day. Other sources put the number at around 40 million. In any case, an enormous achievement. The hive also contains male bees, called drones. Their primary function is to fertilize queen bees. Drones have no sting and do not work. They live solely for reproduction. In any case, a drone's life ends tragically. They hatch from unfertilized eggs, which is why they genetically lack a father. After about 2 weeks, they reach sexual maturity and then fly to so-called drone gathering sites, where several thousand male bees wait for queen bees from the surrounding area. Only about 10 to 20 drones manage to mate with the queen, and this has fatal consequences. After copulation, the male bee's reproductive organ remains stuck inside the queen, resulting in the drone's death. Male bees that have failed to mate with a queen are no longer needed in late summer. The workers then deny the drones food, expel them from the hive, and prevent them from returning. Unhatched drones are eaten and killed. By mating with male bees, the queen receives sperm for life. If drones do not die during mating or during eviction in late summer, they can live to be 4 to 8 weeks old. The life cycle of a honeybee is fascinating. It begins with an egg. This egg is laid in a honeycomb, where it develops into a larva and sheds its skin almost daily. After a few days, the larva spins itself into a pupa before finally hatching as an adult bee. The entire process takes 16 days for the queen, 21 days for the workers, and 24 days for the drones. Unfortunately, honeybees are under threat today. Pesticides, diseases, and habitat loss threaten their existence. But each of us can help by planting bee-friendly plants and taking care of the environment. Without bees, we could lose many of our favorite plants. So let's work together to ensure they can continue to make their vital contribution in the future. Don't forget to subscribe and like. I look forward to the next one.